What is up, everybody? Welcome to the RPG podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm Evan, co host with Mike. Obviously, he's not here right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to go through James Conner and his fantasy outlook for the 2025 season. All right, we're going to start off as we usually do, going over to Dynasty Data Lab. We're going to see in Dynasty startups, where is he currently going? Well, as you'll see here popping up on the screen, he is currently going at pick 111 and RB 28. All right, that is screaming value for a win now team, as a lot of these picks end up being in fantasy football, in dynasty drafts specifically. When you get these older running backs, I get it. James Conner is pushing 30. Will likely be over 30 this coming season when it kicks off. But all of that to say, he still plays for the Cardinals, which have a decent offense. He still is the lead running back in this backfield. If you think otherwise, we have a Trey Benson video on the channel as well. Feel free to go and search that out. If you feel otherwise, put that in the comments below. Would love to hear why you guys think that Trey Benson is more valuable and a better running back than James Conner, because I clearly don't think that that is the case. And you can clearly see Trey Benson is going as RB34 at the 123rd pick in Dynasty startups. So you can clearly see that these running backs are ranked pretty closely together. James Conner will have at least the 25 season on the roster for the Cardinals. Technically signed for a season after that as well. But we all know the NFL is able to get out of basically any contract that they want to. So if they feel like Trey Benson has taken a big enough step this coming season for the 2026 season, then maybe they move on. But we're looking at 2025. We're thinking that 1-2 year window on running backs for Dynasty. And we're going over to Fantasy Calc now. Our friends over at Fantasy Calc, they do a great job for us putting together some rankings. You pull this up and you go, okay, RB28. Man, that's pretty similar to where they had him on Dynasty Data Lab. But you look at the rookie capital that has to be invested theoretically to be able to go get a James Conner, and you're talking the 209, the 210. I mean, that is a screaming value if you're trying to look at the rookie running backs in that frame, in that area as well. If you're a win now team, the production that you're going to get from James Conner is going to be so much higher. You're looking running backs right around him, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyrone Tracy. I think both of those guys are falling flat on their face this coming season. Travis Etienne, maybe he has a bounce back. They also invested in Tootin there, who's right down here. You still have Brian Robinson, Charbonnet, DeAndre Swift coming in short order after James Conner. All right, so now we know approximately where he's going. In startups right now, we know where he's being valued on some of the calculators out there, some of the ranking services out there. But now we're going to move over and we're going to talk about Fantasy Pros and what their stats are showing that he did this past season. All right, we got James Conner right here at RB11 overall, and that's with missing the last week of the season. 236 carries. When you look at that, my magic threshold is if you're a running back that's going to hit 200 carries, it should be pretty plain and simple, just on a volume standpoint, that you are going to be at least a RB2, at least one of the top 24 running backs in the league for fantasy production. You look at his receiving production, 55 targets out of the backfield. 55 targets is decent, not huge, but good enough to be able to keep him right up there in the runnings for the top running backs grouping, that RB1 grouping. I do feel like there is a potential for him to slide back a little bit this coming season. But even so, if you tell me that you're getting a running back at RB28 prices, the very, very bottom of the RB2s that you have to take in a fantasy startup, and you're going to get 14, even saying that he takes a 2-point drop, 14 points per game, which would put him right around that location of that RB2 range, right about there. That's fine. We just need to be realistic. You're taking an older running back. You need to understand, hey, this is my win now window. I'm probably going to be starting him as my second, third flex on a week in, week out basis. And if I'm not mistaken, he had an RB1 week in the 2024 season. So not that far removed. You look at his production over the last 3 seasons, and he's been a RB2, fringe RB1 the last 3 seasons. He's been a model of consistency on that offense. What more do you want from somebody going that late in your drafts when you're trying to build a win now team? All right, now let's move over to PFF to be able to go over what this Arizona Cardinals team could potentially look like, what they graded out as last year. All right, so we got some offensive linemen here. We got Evan Brown. We got the center, who I never know how to pronounce his name. Absolute mauler, though, one of the better centers in the game. Paris Johnson, who is coming along very well since he was drafted out of Ohio State. They signed Kelvin Beachum to be able to compete with Jonah Williams, who maybe they slide Jonah Williams inside. Jonah Williams has potential to be a guard, to be a center. These are positions that he's played in the past. It gives him that versatility to be able to be moved around like a chess piece on this offensive line. I don't think they move him to center, but moving him into guard is definitely a potential and would be filling a need for this team. Now, is Kyler Murray going to be taking a step forward? Is Marvin Harrison Jr. going to be taking a step forward this coming season in fantasy football and in NFL football? Because if those two players can take a step forward, we already know Trey McBride is an absolute monster. You can see this 89.8 receiving grade. But if the receiving weapons can take a step forward, if Kyler can take a step forward passing the football, this could really open up the running game and really be able to open up some lanes for James Conner. You look at the draft, they went pretty heavy on defense the entire draft, which is great because this team desperately needs some defensive help. They need this defense to be able to make some stops so that the offense can stop getting the ball in negative field position. All right. We want to be able to get Kyler Murray and this offense in plus field position because the defense is doing its job, or at the bare minimum, be just slightly below league average. You know, I feel like that's not asking too much, but James Conner, looking at his profile, looking at what his previous production has been, understanding that there may be an age cliff that starts to come in, but as we showed you in the Fantasy Pros stats here from last season, 236 carries last season. Even if that number drops to the 215s, you're still talking about somebody who is right around that 4.5, slightly above that 4.5 yards per carry. And with a slight uptick in the offense, could be seeing more touchdown production than the 8 that he scored last year. Could be pushing for double-digit touchdowns, understanding Kyler Murray is always a red zone threat to run the football in, which may take some away from James Conner. But I don't think Trey Benson is going to be taking that many carries away from James Conner this coming season. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe you have a different feeling. If you do, please put it in the comments below. We love hearing from you all, and we hope that you like, subscribe, and continue to follow the channel because we're putting out this Dynasty football content for you, the listeners, and for ourselves. We're still learning new stats. We're still finding new things that maybe we didn't pick up on before. And we're absolutely loving doing it. So hopefully you are enjoying this channel as well. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the goblins get you.